are live here on WTF with Rhonda Shea. She's here fooling around. I'm not sure what got into her, but she...
I'm all messed up today.
You don't look messed up, honey. You look very pretty today.
Thank you.
You're going to a, what did you tell me?
I'm going to a retirement party.
Can I go retire with you?
Sure. It's not my retirement.
Wouldn't that be nice?
I know somebody who's
There's going to be lots of drinks, dancing.
I think it'll be a really nice event.
A lot of
fun people.
dancing.
A great group of people. It's Pat from the executive director from the Listen Foundation here in town, and she's retiring after I think 16 years of taking an organization and really
going somewhere with it.
Yeah, she really, I mean, she's just was an amazing executive director, and we've got a new one who I think will be great, but big shoes to fill, I'll tell you that.
Now, you told me something when you walked in, and it just broke my heart, Rhonda. But it actually lifted my heart. You made me feel really good.
What?
You told me that you're going to change the name somewhat.
I'm going to change the show, yeah.
A little bit. We're going to change the show a little bit, but Rhonda's still going to be on here doing all kinds of fun stuff.
Yep.
She's zany, she's fun, she's always full of humor, and she's full of...
Something.
Shoot.
Something, yeah.
I didn't
There's an emoji for that.
Emoji.
No, actually what I want to do is, one of the things that I think is we all have so much stress anymore with all of the dumb shit stuff that's taking place, that it would be nice to have something that focuses on kind of fun and good news and people that are making a positive impact, you know, in our community and communities around the country. So I'm going to keep the name WTF, but it really is going to stand for Wasn't That Fantastic? And once a month we're going to do an interview a person who won an award here in Denver called the Minoru Yasui Award for outstanding volunteers. I mean, these are the kind of people you give them a rubber band and a paper clip and they build a shopping mall. You know, it's like, you did what? You know, they're fantastic. So we're gonna start having a little 5-minute, 10-minute interview with the winner, and they get a grant to give to their charity and about the charity of their choice. And then we're going to focus on people that are just doing really nice things. And so we're going to invite the community around the country as well as here and around the world. If someone's done something really nice and you want to just thank them, let us know. I'm going to set up an email for it. And you'll be able to send in suggestions on who we should talk about. I'm going to interview people that are just doing something really cool, whether that's here in Colorado or, like I said, around the world. And I just want to focus for a while. We're going to have fun too. I mean, I can't help it. I try not to be sarcastic, and then it just happens. You know, I can't help it.
You're built that way,
so
right?
we're gonna focus on that, and that's going to be, I think, a really good thing to do here today. And I think we're all going to love the show. It should be fun. And so if you know someone that you think would be somebody that's fun, and they can be, you know, it doesn't have to be good works in the community, although it could be. But it could be just making you happy. It could be somebody funny. I mean, it could be a comedian. It could be somebody that makes you laugh. It could be somebody that's got great music. The things that make us good, you know, which are not things that are in the political arena at this point, because we all know that's just screwed up beyond recognition. That's FUBAR. That should be like, E Furbaris Unis ought to be the new slogan for the United States. E Fubar Unis. What do you think?
That's crazy. I like that.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. It could be, so it's like great music. The things that make us good.
What happened?
It took every word I said.
It's still taking every word.
I don't know.
You better watch that and sending it out to everybody.
My phone is sending out an entire message on every single word I said. It's like, I don't know. New technology. I was going to say, hey, go on KUHSdenver.com if you want to watch the show, because I don't have it up on my Facebook feed.
Now, what's interesting is there's ChatGPT. It's a new AI component that has just made extreme footprints around the world, just like Zoom did.
Now look at this. Now it's doing that. Don't talk for a minute. This is unbelievable. It's just everything we say, it's writing down. This is dangerous. This is very dangerous. Oh, look, it says dangerous.
I knew somebody that got in there and erased all their contacts. So be careful.
Right,
what is going on there?
Now I'm going to try it. Ready? My Facebook feed isn't up today. It's not working. So if you want to watch the show, go to KUHSdenver.com and pop on, watch, or listen live. There.
Back to ChatGPT. It's a new component that's going to revolutionize the world. Their servers got hit so much with this. It talks to you. It carries conversation, and you say, "Well, I want to do an entire screen script for a movie." It'll write it for you.
Oh my God.
Yes, and they're saying, "Well, they're going to cheat, and kids are going to cheat in college and all this." That's not cheating. You should see how it's just revolutionary.
Well, everything changes. Technology. I'm sure, when I was a kid, you couldn't use a calculator on a test.
Well, you can.
And today you can use those big fancy ones.
Yeah, robots that are talking to you, and they're not even real.
Well, like that movie Megan. Isn't that the movie that's out now? It's Megan, the friend. There we go. Megan, isn't that what the name of it is? That girl.
She got scared.
Like,
she goes, "Oh my gosh, Henry!"
I'm like, okay, that's weird.
That's what I mean. It's this new stuff that's coming out. It's revolutionizing everything.
It really is, and it makes everything a lot easier and prettier for.
So it'll carry conversation with business clients and stuff. Like, let's say, and it's going to be revolutionary in our studio because we have like a dozen or about 15 pages that are all different names: Mile High Promotions, Arch Letter Promotions, KUHS Friends, KUHS Super Friends, all these different pages that we broadcast to. Now, if people are talking on any one of those pages to us, this AI will go in there and carry conversation as they're really speaking.
Oh my God.
And we're not, we're going to set it up that way. There's some simple ones, basic, that are already built in for this kind of thing, but this stuff will actually carry your conversation with you.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
So it'll know it'll look at your database. It knows where a radio station knows everything about it, and it'll just reach in there and grab all the key words.
Wow.
Like, where do I distribute my posters to on KUHS?
And you better be careful because, I don't know if I trust that stuff. It just might pull something out of there.
Tell me about Henry.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, there we go.
It'll be there writing for days.
Have you seen some of the stuff that's going on since it's still the WTF right now? And in 2 weeks, next week, we're going to be on again, WTF. And then it's going to be Wasn't That Fantastic? And we may be, and it's going to be once a month, and we're not sure if it's going to be on a Saturday or a weekday, but we'll let you know as soon as we know.
And there was I pulled up a video of one of your very first shows, and I posted it, and I shared it just the other day. It was 5 years ago?
God, it's been a long time. I just want to refresh this a bit.
Yes, and you've been doing a really good job. And a lot of people talk about different things, and if they bring up old radio stations, it's Kim Radio all the time, and I always think of you.
We'll have to have one show dedicated to
That's how we kind of met,
we'll have to have
though,
one
is
show
that
dedicated to it.
You came in for photography, and you do some absolutely beautiful
I
photography.
got new work that's really good right
And when you went up to the Flagstaff Mount,
I was going to tell you that.
I'd always go up there because I went to school at CU. We'd always go up to Flagstaff, and it's beautiful. And the thing about it is, if you go up there, it's kind of steep when you first start driving up. It's kind of but when you get up there and you look out toward Denver and all the surrounding areas.
And then if you keep going, you can look back towards Long's Peak and towards all those big, beautiful mountains, and it was stunning.
And it was fun to take chicks. Just to go up there and drive.
That's a big make-out place.
It is.
We took our kids up to Lookout Mountain once, and they were little. They were like in elementary school, so one was like in first grade, and one was like in fifth grade or something. And we thought, it'd be fun for them to see the Denver lights. Well, we hadn't been up there since we were kids, at nighttime. We belonged to Mount Vernon Country Club, and we would go up there every once in a while.
And go hang out and have some fun.
But anyway, we hadn't in a while, and so I thought, well, let's take the kids up, and they can see the lights of Denver. And we get up, and we pull in to look at the lights of Denver, and one of our girls goes, "Is he hurting that lady?" I go, "What?" We look over, and there's two people screwing on the hood of a car. I was like,
So don't be looking at it.
My husband's like, "God damn it!" He rolls the window down and yells at him. They just kept going.
Yeah, they don't care.
And it was like, oh God! You can just see like go right button here.
Yeah, she's screaming with ecstasy.
My kids thought they were hurting me. I was like, oh God, oh God. Bad mom, bad mom.
He could have been hurting her.
He might have been.
Depends.
Yeah, but I don't know. I wouldn't again get it. I was just like, okay, we're gonna go.
Look over there.
Go, get out of here.
Over here like this, right?
Yeah. We were like, oh my God, we were pretty horrified that our children were there.
It is. It's true. That's very romantic up there if you'd like to take somebody.
Well, I don't think romantic is screwing somebody on the hood of a car with other people all around you, but that.
Well, they didn't know where. There's secret places you can kind of
okay, that's it. All
right. Blankets or whatever.
It's like, okay. There's like all these cars around. These people are just going at it. It's like, really? I thought maybe they were practicing for a strip club or one of those clubs.
No, Rhonda.
Oh my God. And speaking of naked.
You said
I said the word naked. Yeah, it's okay.
No, you were saying what to do with.
Yeah, so anyway, speaking of the word naked, the Missouri Senate, I don't know if you saw this, but the Missouri Senate voted to, the Republicans control the Senate there, no surprise, and they voted on new rules for the dress code for women only. They didn't change anything for men, just women. And so women cannot have bare arms. Their arms can't be bare. If they're wearing a dress, they have to wear something over the dress. You know, this is like ridiculous. And I'm getting really tired of men. You know, and then in Indiana, that Senate, that state, one of the state senators there wants to pass laws that everyone has to carry passports to do interstate travel because they're afraid women will get in cars and go to other states to get abortions. Wow. And I mean, I am so tired of men trying to control us. We have the same rights, or we should have. We don't.
Well, we should have the same rights as everybody else. Women.
Yeah.
No, we do. Because you women are so loving and you're so full of romance. We have to put a hinder on it.
I'm going to put my foot up your ass. That's what see? But anyway, the thing that I was going to say, the thing I was going to say is, I really think there ought to be a women's march in Missouri. We should get all these women together. We should go down when the Senate, the state's representatives are in session, and we should march naked.
I'll be there.
And instead of calling it Burning Man, we're going to call it Burning Bush. What do you think? It's the Burning Bush march. We're tired of this.
I like it. I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be there going live.
Yeah, there you go. I'm
going live. Look at all this bush.
Well, they say a bird in the bush, or burn the hand. It's worth two in the bush. I don't know. something like
go
that.
Around it.
Oh, God.
Don't let us down. Keep going.
Well, the next two shows are just going to be wild because that's it. That's the end of it.
And she wants to get as wild and zany as she possibly
once in a while, I might come
Everybody
in.
knows, right?
Once in a while, right before an election or something's really nuts, I might just have to come in and join you in studio and comment on it. But for the most part, we're going to.
Because I'm not like that usually. Only you make me. You make me act like this, and you bring the script in. And
people say that about me.
Yeah, and you say you bring the script in, you make me read off of what's it saying here. So I read off of your script.
I don't have to see script, no script.
It's right here.
I'm just winging it.
No, she says she's winging it, but she brings me a script and say, you say this, and if you don't say it, I'm kicking you in your leg.
But what?
Ouch! Gotcha.
What I was going to say is that
it's all entertainment.
That's right. That's entertainment. I'm really looking forward to talking about, and we'll laugh a little because I can't help but joke. So there's going to be no way it's not going to be funny. But the focus is going to be on things that are good. So we might make fun of a few people. But
I feel everybody.
Okay, we might slip. But we're going to try not to. And I want to bring people in that are really making a difference because I really believe that as a country we're getting depressed because all we hear is this one, this white supremacist group doing that, and this person going on the Capitol,
and killing
cops
this guy
beating
for
people
what reason
up,
was that?
Oh my God!
Nobody wondered what reason in all of.
First of all, why would you even if they did beat him? Once he's down, you should call an ambulance.
Yes. Why would you take him down?
Leave him to begin with.
Five big giant men.
One guy
handcuffed and just start beating on him while you're handcuffed.
Anyway,
give him a chance. Unhandcuff him. Then what if it's one of these
kind of guys that can really fight? And it wasn't even like a crime, was it? I mean, he wasn't doing anything.
Down comes all those cops.
Was he speeding? Is that it?
Whatever it was.
Whatever it is that black men have to do to be killed. I think they have to speed in a car. Or they have to have a tail light out. Yeah. It's like, you got to give me a break on this. This is ridiculous. And
I have this really neat stuff I've been selling. You know how you put, when you tint your windows? That film that you put on the side of your windows, I have this new film that it shows a white lady and old white lady and a white. You roll it up and there's an old white lady.
Well, that's what you need. Yeah, there's a little picture of me. I'm telling you, the older I get, and the paler I get, because now I'm not in the sun as much, the whiter I get, and the older I get, and the whiter I get.
Say that fast.
You get away with a whole lot of shit. There's like another level of privilege that comes when you're an old white woman. There was all kind of privilege before, and I admit
this
it.
This McDonald's thing you should be doing.
I admit it. There's privilege, and I know it, and I enjoy it. But anyway,
what she did the other
I wish
day
everybody had the same.
Really
privilege.
Interesting, and it's true what she said. She went over to the grocery store, filled her basket up full of groceries, and then started walking out, going out, and they stopped her, ma'am, and she goes, yes, are you okay? Yeah, I have my Alzheimer's been messing up. Okay, keep going.
Yep, that's it.
And she got away with all that?
They do all kinds of stuff. Nobody questions you. It's
well, when you ran over that cat in the middle of the sidewalk, I mean, what were you driving on the sidewalk for anyway?
I was looking for you. I was bowling for Henry.
Do you ever do bowling fundraisers?
I have in the past, yeah.
Really?
They're fun.
Have you done it? Do you know how to bowl?
Mm-hmm. I'm not very good at it.
You're a gutter bowler.
Yeah, I'm a pretty bad bowler, but
you go for the drinks.
I go for the fun, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We used to bowl for bows, we called it. And so we'd
For
get
balls?
our friends, bows.
Oh, bows.
We'd get our friends together, and then we would all play, and then the winning team had to get on their hands and knees in the lane and go, "You are the greatest bowler in the world. We're not with the sweat off your butt. You are the greatest bowler," or the sweat off your balls sometimes.
Oh, my God.
But they were holding their bowling ball. I'm referring to a bowling ball.
Yeah,
but it didn't sound like that. So anyway, we would do that, and oh my God, we just do it all the time. And then we, at the point when Celebrity Lanes was open,
Oh, yeah.
they knew us, and they would say, "Pay attention on lane 5."
Hey, did you ever go to Roller-Rama and all the skating
Oh
rinks?
God, I love
wasn't
that.
that fun?
I know.
Friday
Disco
or Saturday,
skating.
Yeah. And what did you do? Did you go to look at the guys or the skate?
Oh, she said, "I can't get on something. I got, see what this one is. Can't get on to hear you today. Go to KUHSdenver.com. I'm sorry, guys.
There's 2 P's on each side of the.
I can't see. There it is.
C-O-M.
God, I can't see that good to type anymore. Right?
Mm-hmm.
There.
And there's 2 sides on the page. On one side is the Restream, and on the other side
One
is the
side
Facebook.
is the
Restream.
Restream.
The
The
side
other
is Facebook.
is Facebook. Choose that. Okay, there.
The Restream is YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, all of them.
All right, there we go. Yeah, we can get on all kinds. We're on all kinds of platforms, aren't we?
That's a ton.
I can't believe how many people tune in too.
Yes, it's been
amazing.
incredible. And Paul Chavez was mentioning that today. He says that we have climbed so dramatically. We're now listed as amongst the over-the-air station as the top 30 stations in Colorado. We're number 8. And that's amongst all the stations
All of
that are
them?
over the air.
Wow,
That's what I said. I was like,
Well,
wow.
that's
And
because
so-
of me.
Yeah, I know that.
I want to double my salary right now.
This goes back to what we're talking about, being bigger than the station.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but it's funny because there are a lot of individuals that go out in the corporate world, especially the media world. That's where you can't pull one off on anybody.
Well, I'll tell you, one time when I was general manager at Radio Disney, I had a woman say, well, we had to do layoffs and they were coming, and people didn't know if they should take the buyout. My thing is, if you probably should always take the buyout. If you've been there a long time, and because they're going to get rid of the people that make the most, and that's pretty much it. And that one person said, well, they can't go on without me. I do XYZ job. They couldn't go on without me. And I looked up and I said, just tell me, what is the name of this company? Huh? What's the name of the company you work for? The Walt Disney Company. I said, and where is Walt Disney? They'll go on without anybody.
They don't care.
They don't, I mean, it does.
The Disney company is huge.
I mean, they go on without anybody, and
Mhm.
every company does. Every company now. There's once in a while there's some restaurant, and the guy that owns it is very unique, or there's something that really is tied into an owner. But 90% of the time, you should always remember that they were here before you. They'll be here after you.
That's right.
Period. End of statement.
That's right.
You're a cog in the wheel.
And people like yourself who've been in the business a long, long time realize this. And Paul Chavez said it too. Everybody says it. No, it's like this, and this is the way it works. Because he's been let go by other stations too. He's big. 40 years in the business. They said, "Thank you, Paul," but
yeah, goodbye.
Goodbye.
No, because one thing, now it's gotten a little better, but particularly back when I started in media, they don't value age.
That's
They
right.
value youth.
That's right.
They don't value women as much as they value men. That's very much evidence. I never worked anywhere where I got the same or equal pay as a man did for doing similar jobs.
And we'd like to welcome 2 new females to the staff here who are doing shows, and that is Juliet and Maria.
Maria and Juliet.
And Maria finished her stint over at the Media College over there.
Oh yeah, I used to teach there.
Yeah, so she did her stint there, so she knows all about this. And Juliet does a lot of the feed for the, I think it's the Westminster Chamber of Commerce.
Well,
so
that's
she
great.
does. Yeah, she does. So she knows how to do all this fun
It's
stuff.
going to be fun. My neighbor Presley is the spokesperson that she used to be a TV anchor in Texas for CDOT,
Oh, wow.
And so she comes on and does. I should have her come in and talk about
Oh, you
CDOT.
bet.
That'll be one of the people on our new show.
Now, with Juliet, see how we have the signs up here, that
Uh-huh.
live mic, we both know about being live, and we were real careful. She made the ultimate mistake.
Oh, no.
They were talking in here. I go in there, you know, you're live.
You're live, stop.
And she goes, can you snip that off? I go, yeah, we're going to have to. So as soon as they were done, I snipped that beginning part off.
Yeah, that's kind of, that happens every once in a while.
I've made that mistake, I'm sure
Or false starts in the days when you used to record everything. And you'd make,
false starts.
oh, remember those? Like you'd record something and you'd be like, I don't know, like, coming up this weekend in Westminster is the fabulous, fantastic Fun Fest, you know, and you'd say, like, the fabulous, and you screw it up, and you screw it up, and you'd go back and you'd record it on tape, and you'd go back. Well, if you got lazy, you just thought, well, I'll just start from here, and you would do the commercial or the bit or whatever, and then you go to play it, and I swear to God,
it'd always be off.
It'd be off. You'd be playing in the middle of it, like, and then you'd be doing stuff like the fabulous. Oh God damn it! And then like, because you had the delay, you know. It's like God. You get all this stuff on the.
And that's happened a lot in here because we know when we're going live, you got 5 seconds, and then we are on a 17-second delay, so we know what it works like.
It's
the
pretty
new
funny.
ones, the newbies in here, they'll sit here. I go see the red things. And
It's on.
It's live.
God. But anyway, I'm excited about wasn't that fantastic, and to kind of shift more into that. It's going to be similar, but it's only going to be once a month, and like I said, it's going to be more based on really cool, fun things and good news.
And the thing about you, Rhonda, is, you know, I was reviewing when I got those memories. I seen the one dating back that far. I watched some of it and seen how you were back then. And some of the guests that she's had on here, some of them have been big, and others, like, we had a couple that were big out in their side, in their field, in their radio stations. But then you bring them in here, and they were like,
well,
crash.
a lot of DJs, and unless they're the ones that are out doing personable things.
That's right.
You know, they're actually shy people.
Yeah.
Because they don't really, they're in a room and they work by themselves. They're just
and
talking to themselves all day long.
Over the microphone and stuff, yeah.
And so they're not, some of them are not the best when you take them out of that environment. Or
And you
put
go
them in
live and put them on camera and stuff like that. It's a change.
Yeah, it's a change. But most of them are, you know, they're so professional today, and they always were. I mean, truly, it's a great talent to be, I think, a good DJ. You know, and you look at some of the best, like Denise. She's wonderful, Denise Plant. You look at Cha Cha. You look at the ones that lasted, Randy J.
And how they get by, and how they know how to change with the paradigm.
Yeah, they change with the paradigm, and they're also quick-witted.
Yes.
And it takes smarts to be quick. I mean, it really does. I mean, dull people can't make quick jokes. They're like, yeah, you know, they're out
That's
there.
How you bring
dull people are, you know, they're behind. They're like they're slow to get the message. So it's like they're out there going, Trump won. But
is that why you bring me this script?
That's right.
I always say she brings me the script because I can get away with things then.
I don't.
And you let me get away with certain things, then you like just clown me for saying certain things.
I do.
Now that's not right.
It's
now that this is one of the last shows.
It's a rando thing.
It's Randall?
Randall.
Who's Randall? Who's this Randall guy?
Randall.
What's this? Are you two timing me or what?
Yeah.
What's this Randall thing?
I'm not telling you.
Why? Okay, that's it.
Anyway. Henry.
Well, let me tell you what happened. Just
real quick. Tell what happened.
Just real quick. Okay, so I'm trying to call out on my phone at night. I'm driving, so I just press it and I get, Siri.
Oh, God, yeah.
Siri, can you call this on? She don't talk to me. Siri, can you call? And she don't talk to me. And she gets back and I go, Siri, can you call, Rhonda Shea? Hell no, you've been messing around with that Alexa.
Oh, God, that's funny.
Yeah, and then I go home. Alexa, put on KUHS radio so I can hear it. Nothing. Alexa, put on KUHS radio.
She's mad at you, too.
And she says, F you. Who is this Siri bitch? It's scary.
It is. I don't have one of those in my house. Do you like it?
Yes. They're really nice, especially when you order stuff through Amazon. Your package is at the front door.
Oh. Well, maybe I have to get one. I just kind of...
But you have the app to set it, all, the security settings, so you don't have all this extra stuff. But I always put on the music. It's good for the music.
Well, I would kind of like
that.
I
hook it up to my music bar, so it is
cool.
just good music.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. What?
The weather, you can ask her the weather.
Well, I can ask my watch that.
Well, you got that.
We could talk, like when we were kids, if people would have walked around talking to watches or...
Like Dick Tracy?
Yeah, or like, just standing in their house going, tell me this,
Yeah.
tell me that. They'd
They
put us
could
in a
put the-
loony bin. It'll locked us up. Or walk down the street talking to yourself because you're on headphones.
Excuse me, I got to take this call. The new phone. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they should have an armpit phone. I think that'd be funny.
I'm getting a fax. You're wrong to make me do that on this. She has a script. She told me.
I think an armpit phone would be the worst. Can I borrow your phone? Yeah.
Armpit phone. Rhonda, no.
Well, it would be funny.
It would.
It would kind of be
I
funny.
like that.
Yeah. So we went to Dress for Success. I went there.
Yeah.
They're really a great organization, Dress for Success Denver on Facebook, or you can check them out on the internet. And the award winner for Minori Asui for January was a woman that volunteered there. Her name was Abby, and had volunteered there for a number of years. And it was just such a great, positive thing.
Nice.
And that's what made me think, God, I want to tell these stories. I want to tell these stories.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I get a lot of the emails for Dress for Success and stuff. Sometimes I'll share their stuff out.
That's because they think you look like a bum. No.
I resemble that remark.
They think you look bad. Here, let's give Henry some fashion advice.
I can't believe you're talking to me like this.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
You think us men don't have feelings?
But no, honestly, it is a great place, and it's where women can go to get good.
I'm bawling like a bitch. Now, hold on.
I'm ignoring you. Where women can go and get fashion advice and get clothing so they can apply for jobs, and it really is a great uplifting and needed thing, because you can't go apply for a job and look like a mess.
Like me, like she just said.
Yeah, you have to.
You think I look homeless? Yes.
Homeless people.
You look at me real funny.
Don't do that. We're talking about Dress for Success, and it's not.
Yes,
I don't want to talk about people experiencing homelessness.
Well, I'm just going by your.
Okay, I don't have that on the script, because my heart goes out to the homeless.
I know mine too.
You know.
I don't understand why they started getting things going by using some of these empty buildings to house them and stuff like that, because they have bathrooms in there, they have rooms, they can do all these things, but yet they just chase them from one side of the town to the other, back and forth. Not really trying to help their
and I don't understand why they didn't take University Hospital and turn that into a homeless facility where people could go in. The rooms were already there. They had their own bathrooms in each room.
Yeah.
They had all these rooms they could have converted to classrooms and
everything, and
or therapy rooms, or whatever they needed to help. And they had a giant cafeteria. They could have trained people to work in a cafeteria, to cook, to prep, to clean. I mean, laundry, they could have trained them to work in a laundry like at a hotel. They could train them. I mean, it would have been
put a call center in there, put them to work.
All kinds of stuff where
Take
they could have got skills. They could have got jobs and got paid. They could have lived in that facility, and and if there was a family, you could probably put two of those rooms together, or you could have put bunk beds, because they're set up for two people.
Right.
Anyway, and so you could do that. And if it was a family, you could have a whole floor that was just family, because they're afraid to put the kids in with other people. So you could have a whole floor in the hospital that was locked off, was just for families, and they could go in and out.
That'd be really nice.
There's rooms for playrooms for kids and daycare, and all the training that you could have done for people working in the daycare. They could have been trained, and of course you have to be screened, obviously, and you'd have to do a background check probably on some of the folks. But the reality is that it just, to me, made perfect sense, and it was like, let's just turn it into another development instead of fix what we need to fix.
This war in Ukraine, something's been bothering me about this. When the president says we're going to send more advanced tanks over there, where do they get the tanks from, and who pays for it? We do.
Yeah.
So the United States pays these big Northrop and all these big manufacturers of all this to make them. So it helps. So what is this all about? Really?
Basically,
and then they go murder. These things will blow a human to smithereens, to this little. But what are they thinking?
Well, they gotta fight a war. A war is different.
I know, but what is their thinking?
Their thinking is they're gonna go in there, blow the shit out of people, and get the war over.
Well, blowing this. Where are their minds? That's so archaic, so backwards, so old-fashioned anymore.
Well, I don't think so, personally.
You don't think?
No. I think that you're not.
They can't use laser beams and stuff to stun and hold them.
I don't think so.
Freeze frame them.
We don't have that.
You can't freeze
we don't have
frame
that. But I do think that it would be wonderful if we lived in a world where people would sit down and figure this stuff out. But we don't. And when the aggressors come in, the oppressed have to stand up.
Wow.
Otherwise they're just going to get eaten alive.
Yes.
And so, so I do agree with supporting Ukraine. I do think that by buying, as long as these products are made in America, by buying tanks and shipping them, we are taking tax dollars, which is good, and we're putting them back into our own economy, which is good. Yeah. Our tax dollars aren't going to Ukraine. They're going to the companies that make this equipment. and then the equipment's going to Ukraine.
So
but the money is staying here.
Death and destruction is just collateral damage.
Yeah, I hate that term, but yes. And you're never going to get away from it, I don't think. Now, the more sophisticated we get with the Space Force, for example, the more targeted things can be so that they don't hit civilian targets as much.
So what you're saying, the more sophisticated the
weaponry
populace, the more sophisticated the weaponry.
Yes. And you can avoid some of those things.
And then you went to the Space Force, and we run some of the commercials here, but we didn't run.
I'm going to bring them on for an interview. I'm going to bring them to the Space Force Association.
They did move it out of Colorado. I think they.
No, they didn't move the whole thing out.
Not yet.
No, they're not moving the whole thing out. They're just moving one piece of it out. And there's some reasons for that. And one of the reasons is that right now there's about 3 states that have all the Space Force bases and capabilities.
Yes.
So, and they're all pretty much in the western. So if an enemy, an adversary, bombed us, they could take out all of our defenses by just bombing a few places.
And that's it.
And so that doesn't make sense.
So they're spreading it out.
So they're spreading it out, and they need to spread it out.
So they're going to take out that one and this one, and then we'll be done because we're divided and conquered.
Yeah, that's it. No, there's going to be more locations.
There's war games, and that's one of them.
Yep.
If you divide, you can easily conquer.
Yes, yes.
Did you know that?
Oh, yeah.
That's what happened to the rise and fall of the Roman Empire.
It's what's happening to us.
Yes, and they sent in 3,000 of these Roman men against the Moors, and the Moors was only 300, and they took them out.
Yep.
I'm sorry to say. Don't look at me like I'm.
Don't you? No, it's 300. I know that.
It was great.
But anyway, so it's getting more sophisticated. I'm going to bring somebody on from the Space Force Association, and they can talk more about. Nothing they talk about is going to be classified or anything, but just general
just talk about it.
Topics and things that are going on. And that's going to be one of my first guests when I do the new show. Bring some folks on from there.
And I think it was Trump trying to take it all out of here, right?
He might have been, yeah. They're not taking it all out. But they have to put some new bases up, and they have to do some things. So we've got 3 locations. We've got Peterson, which is Shriver,
up in
right?
Wyoming.
And then we've got Buckley over here.
Mm-hmm.
No, Peterson's in South. Peterson is Shriver, which is in Colorado Springs.
Oh, yeah.
And then you've got Buckley, and then you've got another one. And the reality is that, and you've got NORAD, and you've got all of these things. And so we need to be, I don't want it to leave Colorado, but it's only part of it. It's part of the command.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's wise to have command centers in a couple of locations. I really do.
And take care of it.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'll tell you what, they're really smart people putting this stuff together. It's
real interesting. And you got to be a part of it and go down there. And then you have your beautiful camera to which take those pictures for them. And
I got a new camera, and you saw it.
Yeah.
You saw the one I just did.
Man, the clarity on that is Jesus.
I know, it's like unbelievable.
700 to... And I just said that.
It's pretty
clear.
Impressive. Yeah, it's a mirrorless. Those are great cameras. So anyway, I think that those are kinds of topics that are interesting to us, and I want to talk more about them. And the other thing is that we want to have some fun too. So I want to look at what's entertainment, what's coming up, what's going to be cool, what's different. Like there's a chocolate festival next Saturday in Estes Park.
So what you're seeing here,
like that.
KUHS is retooling all its shows, and that's what's going on. And everybody's starting to see there's these new shows coming in, there's new people coming in, and some of the older shows are retooling, making them really polished and looking really nice, and that's what Rhonda's show is going to be about. Retooling her show, making it look polished, bringing in all these different subjects, all the subject matter.
And after a while, you get tired.
Yeah.
People get tired of hearing the same kind of things over and over and over. So it's important to refresh, and then it doesn't mean to be gone forever. It might be a couple of years.
Is always good, though.
Yeah, and in a couple of years, it might be we want to come back and do more of the actual WTF instead of the wasn't that fantastic. That's how I'm going to say it. The WTF. There wasn't that fantastic. But I
trying to smooth them over with your sugar. Huh?
That's it. No, I just think people want to hear good news. I think people want to learn about people that care about other people, not people that hate other people.
Yeah, like some of the news that, like the 5:30 news that comes on the world news. I go, oh no, Nora O'Donnell, oh God, you don't even want to hear her because it's just all this depressed shit.
And I know it's like
so
Debbie Downer does the news every day. It's like, well, we're all gonna die.
Give me another couple of double shots,
like,
please.
Jesus, I can't take it anymore.
Me either. It's like, what the hell?
I know. So I thought, fun stuff. That's it. Just fun. Mm-hmm. And because we're trying to do just fun, once in a while something will be funny. We'll make a joke. But overall, I don't want to do political humor because that's not.
Well, let's do it a little bit right now.
There's truth in political humor.
Come on, let's go. We can't help it. Did you hear what happened to him?
What?
He became the chief of the Indian sovereign nation.
No, he did not.
Well, why do you believe me? He said everything.
I thought you meant DeSantis, not...
Santos, I mean.
You meant George Santos.
The one that's lying.
But you can't talk about George Santos because he is now officially Jesus Christ.
Oh, I didn't know
He came back from the dead, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yeah, he's having people line up.
Is he walking on water?
Yeah, he's walking on water, and, he's just he'll be on my show because, he does wonderful things. He saves animals and...
Yeah. And I don't know if you knew, but he's just like, what's his name, flying his own jet.
Yeah. Yeah, he's an incredible human being. He went to 4 different colleges at the same time, got degrees from all of them, played volleyball on 2 of them. He's amazing.
It's interesting. That's what I thought. And so we have to talk about this brilliant man, this Republican. That's just
I don't understand. Honestly, God, don't get me going on this. I
do
not understand.
Go for it, Ryan. You got to do.
I do not understand how there isn't some kind of rule that if you freaking
lie out of your ass.
You can't be. I mean, I think they're going to have to start doing background checks on these people.
They do that for everybody else.
And they're going to have to do resumes, and if there's massive change, I mean, if they're off by a month or 2 or a year or something okay, but if it's something big like this, like you say you went somewhere and you didn't, it should disqualify you.
No, you don't have to be checked for drugs. You don't have to be checked for nothing. I mean,
it's
ridiculous. You could be a felon and you can go run.
Well, there is a felon in there that's running.
Is that gal from Colorado?
No, that one, yeah, she is. But no, that one guy ran, and he was a felon that was out. He'd served his time in Arizona, and then he tried to shoot all the other opponents.
Yeah, remember that?
That's another great Republican. I went out there and kill everybody that won.
That was the president. Look at that felon.
Yeah, he's a felon. Yeah, that's true. God.
Did he do anything else? Because I know that he was doing, he created this big corporation and sold all this stock, and it just did real well. It was almost taken out Tesla.
Yeah.
Is that what he said he did?
Yeah.
Yeah, you go for it.
Yeah, he did. He did that, yeah.
The stuff he was coming up with, the jokes were out there. They were flying.
Oh, my God, but they're sad. I mean, and the fact that the Republican Party doesn't have enough courage to make him resign.
I know.
And have a special election and put a real candidate in shows you where they're at.
And they've sunk to the lowest
I have no
of lows.
respect for them.
What's happened? This Republicans...
Well, I think what happened was, and it started back, Eisenhower Republicans were pretty cool.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't think that Nixon was that bad. I mean, he wasn't too bad, But what happened was, they started, when they had to court the South. The Deep South had been Democrat, like the boss hogs Democrats, and those are the people that were they're prejudiced.
What about Clinton? He did pretty well in the office.
But
Monica wasn't so bad.
No, but listen. So what happened was the Republican Party started putting things on the agenda to attract the Southern Democrat, because they knew they couldn't win an election without the South. That there was a block for them. So they started putting things like abortion on there and prayer in school and all kinds of other stuff to attract the evangelicals and the Southerners. And when they started trying to attract the Southerners, they started moving more and more exclusive, even dog whistling about white supremacy in order to get many of those people back then to be part of the party, because that was in the 60s, remember, when they started doing this. And so what happened was the inmates started running the asylum, basically, and they lost control of their own party.
Right. And
today, the white nationalist Christians, I mean, if anyone is a white nationalist and a Christian, they're not a Christian. That's number one. And you should not confuse them with real Christians who are not that way. And there are many that are very good, solid people, no matter who they vote for. But what I'm talking about is the white nationalists, the nationalist Christians that have invaded mostly the evangelical party, the evangelical church. And they have taken the church, they're losing their church, it's being hijacked, as well as Christianity is being hijacked and being turned into, let's bring a gun and shoot everybody and let's,
this morning, it was really interesting. I was watching this program. It was a paid programming. And they had this preacher on there just going on and talking to this guy. I love your book. And he says, if you're broke and you're not making any money and you want to turn your life around.
Buy my book.
Yeah, buy my book. Just it's $1,000 seed to turn your life around and turn this $1,000 into lots of money. Now, you're trying to get $1,000 out of somebody who don't have no money as a seed, because God will come and save you. And
you know what I call that, don't you? 2 jobs for Jesus. That's right, you can have 2 jobs for Jesus. 2, one for you, one for Jesus. And since Jesus can't accept any money, you can send your checks to me. 2 jobs for Jesus. That's 2jobsforjesus.com. Oh.
That's the kind of stuff I was watching this morning. I go, what?
And you can become rich and wealthy. And
just
you
put that little seed
can
in there.
close the doors of your church during a hurricane so nobody wrecks your beautiful church. And you can call people rapists and murderers that are just people that want a better life. And you too can discriminate against people who love each other. And you too can vote against Social Security. And you too can vote against health care, because that's what Jesus would do. 2 jobs for Jesus. Send it in now. I'm sorry.
No, go for it. This is the WTF show. And so check it out. Osteen comes out there and is going on and on.
Oh, I hate that man.
And you know what he did? I've got a new line of CBD oil that God wants you to have to make you feel better.
Bless you. It's the oil from the Old Testament. They went back and they looked at the worth and all the stuff that they used to bring, and they put it together in one magical bottle.
It's CBD
oil. You. It's like, oh my.
And we also sell marijuana.
So put your blessing on your head.
And buy the marijuana by the pound, by the kilo, or by the truckload.
And,
help the church. That's what he was selling.
I know, he's selling CBD. They're selling that oil. I've seen it. It's snake oil, but it's that oil where they're saying it's like an old recipe they pulled out of the Bible. You know, like from one of the things, and it's like, yeah, okay. Have fun with that.
He got in trouble for it, so his sponsors and a bunch of people started pulling their thing off his TV channel.
First of all, he is too shiny. Anybody that looks like Joe Holstein is just slippery, squeaky, yucky.
Yeah, you could tell that.
You know.
Well, you know, his jet is pretty squeaky clean because they keep it real nice and clean. Just like they keep both his mansions really squeaky clean with all his, you know, his
and you know what?
staff.
If you're a true man of God, I believe they need to make a decent living. I really do.
Yeah.
I mean, like anybody else, and they travel and they've got a lot of responsibility, and there's, so making $500,000 a year.
That's not enough.
Or maybe even $1 million on some of the big churches and considering what they're doing.
$1 million, that's like nothing.
But making $500,000 a year, $300,000 a year, that's acceptable. But any man of God that's truly a man of God, they would do what Jesus did, and they would give that money to the poor. They would
why is everybody poor, and why is everything based on money?
They would buy food banks. They would help people have health insurance. They'd be doing things with that money on their own to help people.
Why is everything
instead of
based on
becoming
bucks?
bazillionaires?
Why is everything based on bucks, money?
I know it is. It shouldn't be, but it is. And then the other thing is, they would, and I know they'll say, oh, well, he got rich because he wrote a book. I don't care where his profit came from. He's still supposed to be a man of God. Why isn't he giving it to people?
He ain't. Then he closed the church during a hurricane.
I know. Why is he doing that? Why doesn't he say, like, 500,000 is enough for me, and anything over that I make, I'm going to be giving it to people, and hungry people, and sick people, and scared people, and homeless people. No, the people that Jesus walked with and touched. No.
And why Jesus? Now they brought Christianity here. The natives had the sun god and the mother earth. And they had all this special way they worshipped. They took it away. They cut their hair, put them in all these schools.
Well,
they took it away and put Christianity and Bibles on them.
Prior to the nomadic tribes that were Hebrews were part of this, and some of the other Arabs and stuff. Most of your really primitive civilizations that would be like first people, so to speak, they worshipped, first of all, women were considered to be, God was considered to be a woman, because a woman brings forth life.
I've always
the woman is the only one that can bring forth life.
They can be man or women.
And their menstrual cycle and all of those things representing the new growth in the spring and all of that. You needed a man. They didn't make a man less than a woman, but they were on pretty much equal plane in all of those. Only when a male god appeared in history did men start and they also started warring. Most of the time, they did fight and stuff, but it wasn't like it was where they go in and take all these people and do all this terrible stuff to them. And once a male god took over, power and strength became and wealth became what they wanted versus harmony and love and feeding each other. They used to have grain houses that everyone would come to. So you'd grow your grain, keep enough for your family, and what was left you didn't sell, you threw in a grain house. And then everybody who didn't have enough would get it. But once a male god started becoming the deity, that all changed.
Big time.
That all changed big time.
Now, I know this, though. I know women are God's gift to men.
Mm-hmm.
Kidneys, man. Kidneys. Really, though.
And I'm not saying Christianity's wrong.
You know this? I do know this. You treat every woman, whether they treat you bad, treat you like shit, doesn't matter. You treat them all good because it's exactly what you said. They are the creation of life, men and women.
And so, if anything, God's probably a woman. But
I don't believe there is. I think there's something else beside this made-up thing of a
well,
God.
it might not be a God or a man or a
It
woman.
may be an entity.
It's an entity. But and I certainly am not talking bad about Jesus. I think he was, well, obviously he changed the world more than any other person that ever lived or God that ever lived. But and I certainly think everything he taught, if you follow his teachings, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. There's nothing in his teachings that's bad, But people don't follow them. They prostitute them.
That's a good way to put it. Prostitution of the,
the prostitution of the teachings of Jesus Christ.
The raping of the Bible into and splitting it off and redefining it, redesigning it, rewriting it, and then putting it back out.
And taking it out of context and using it as a club, and all of those things are evil. Are just plain evil. They really are. And I'm not saying the people are evil. I'm thinking they've been misled by evil.
Yeah.
But it's, if you really look at Jesus, he came here he was a Jew. He was a Jew. He was a rabbi Jew, and he knew he was there to reform Judaism. He didn't come to create Christianity. He came to reform Judaism. And when you put it in context of that, like when he says, whatever you do for the least of my brothers, you do for me, right?
Yeah.
Well, in the Jewish religion, that's a mitzvah. That's what they do. And they don't expect any kind of compensation or gratitude or anything. They just do it. It's called a mitzvah. And that's what he was talking about. He was talking about doing a mitzvah. He was talking about being good to people. And we've taken, all this stuff out of context because we don't understand his religion and we don't understand why he was there, what he was there to reform.
And there was this program I was watching in 2020. They were talking about of this, like you're talking about the different types of religions that there are. And there was something about this gal who died, and she died in the bathroom. They thought it was a full death, but then the Jewish guy, because they were this certain kind of Jewish, they had to take everything that she was in, the water of the bathtub where she took everything and buried her with her, and they didn't want that. They wanted a full-fledged autopsy and everything, but this religion wouldn't allow that.
Yeah, some religions don't.
This portion of a Jewish thing, I can't remember it right offhand.
It's probably Hasidic.
Yes, something like that. Yes.
That's a rare sect.
Rare sect, yes. And that's what messed up this whole entire investigation. So they had to go through this other way, and 10 years later, they finally got the husband for killing the wife.
Well.
Because he got away with
it.
Well,
they would protect, first of all, like Amish or anyone that's kind of back in those types of things, that the men would be very well elevated over the women, so it'd be hard to
get to them.
Yeah.
And like you say, why they made the men over the women, and the domination of women in this country, because they couldn't vote till almost when the blacks voted, right? The 30s or 40s?
1920,
yeah,
20s.
Yeah, I thought it was 29, 30, right at that.
Yeah, 30. It was right in that kind
of. And still they wouldn't allow them to vote. They would hinder them, they would block them. They'd
throw them in jail.
Yeah, throw them in, make them.
We had to fight for everything we had.
That's crazy. I thought
and this country has never treated women right.
At all.
It's never treated natives right. It's never treated anybody of color right.
Their pay scale is still way down, and they do even more than
our country, and I love our country, don't get me wrong, but we're a work in progress, and we have to take some of those things in the time frame that they took place too. It's not fair to take it out of context. It's not fair to say, without looking at the life and the times that it was written in or that it was happened in. So I will say that it's not fair to judge everything by today's standards. But I will also say that likewise, it's not fair to put yesterday's standards on today. That we have to update and use our Constitution in light of the changes that civilization and that we have made, not go back. Because if we do, these Supreme Court people that are originalists, Amy Coney Barrett, you can't go to school, you can't even get a law degree, and you can't vote, get the hell off the court.
That's right.
It's like, it can't be an originalist.
That's right.
But we can apply that to our society as it grows, and it was meant to be a living, breathing document.
And the thing about this is, and which is really interesting, and you and I both know this, as we progress forward, you see they use the word black, but then they did this commonly coined phrase that everybody uses, people of color. Reverse it, colored people. So, to me, I don't even like that. To define somebody by their color is still separation. And I think that should just be eliminated altogether.
Well, and it would be nice. We aren't quite in that world yet, but it would be very nice if the first thing we didn't see, or you know what, you can't say that. You can never say the first thing you don't see is somebody's skin tone or color. Because you see it. That's the first thing you see. Like anybody, the first impression anybody makes. But wouldn't it be nice?
Why do you point to me?
But
first impression, anybody.
But
Rhonda.
But what I'm saying
I made an impression on you.
You did. But what I'm saying is that the first impression should not be based on their color. You can't help but notice someone's color, or in some cases that you can tell that they're Hispanic or Italian or Asian, or
Yeah, whatever.
But whatever. But that's okay. But not immediately say, okay, my first impression is based on only that. It should be, hey, they have, okay, you see it, but then you just move.
And then the other one I always think is cute when they say, "Oh, my little black friend."
Oh yeah.
Or my little Mexican friend.
Yeah.
Have you heard that one?
Yeah, I have. Or it's like, I'm not prejudiced. I have a black friend.
Yeah, that one, yes.
It's like, really? Just saying that, you're prejudiced.
That's
because you know why people that say that, they believe their black friend is the exception, not the rule.
Yes.
And and that's the problem.
I think it's so cute. On TV, they'll come out with, look at the very first female referee in the NFL. What difference does that make?
It's like kids have to come out if they're gay. I mean, wouldn't it be nice if we didn't even have to ask that question?
Yeah, what's the point?
Whoever,
That's your sexual preference, ain't it?
Okay.
So what? Big deal, right?
Yeah, big deal. That's, just why you even have to come out, but they do. I feel like they have to, and that's
mixed
a question.
Marriages, they always have this thing to say. Back when my brother was going to school.
Well, my daughter Aaliyah's in a interracial relationship, and
he was dating this word white. There's no such thing as a white race, but he was dating a chick that was Caucasian, and he's real light complected like me, and they'd come home and he'd say, yeah, we went out and everybody was just staring at us, and they did. They used to stare at him like you weren't supposed to be together.
Oh, I know.
That's all.
I don't know if that's. I don't know what my daughter and her.
Well, that's
they live together.
Acceptable.
Her honey.
It doesn't mean anything anymore.
They live in South Carolina too, so I don't know. But I don't know what they face. But I do know that he's one of the finest men I've ever met.
Yeah.
And I am thrilled that my daughter has found someone that makes her happy and is such a good man. That's really all that should count.
Yeah. That's what I was telling you.
And his parents are lovely, and all you want.
What you don't want is somebody who is hurtful, mean.
No.
That's the bad side of it.
No, you don't. You don't want any of that. That's what you really want: someone who loves them and will take care of them, and they come from a good family. Not meaning white or rich or anything like that. Just meaning that they were loved in their home and raised in love.
That was so well said. Do you want to adopt me?
And
you didn't say yes or no.
No, I don't.
Oh my gosh, that hurt.
But that's all you want for your children, and what anything else beyond that doesn't really matter. But I do worry sometimes. I wonder if people are going to be mean to them or whatever.
Yeah, because in certain parts of the areas that you go, that does happen. Other parts,
well, I've had family members say, not family here, but family in other places, extended family members that have made comments, and it's like I don't even talk to those people anymore. It's like, are you kidding me?
With that being said, WTF show is now being revamped, retooled, and refreshed.
That's right.
It's nice, Rhonda.
Re-ronded.
Re-ronded.
It's going to be re-ronded.
As long as we have Rhonda back here, it's going to be fabulous.
It's going to be once a month. We haven't decided the day yet of the weekend. It might be Saturday, but it might not. So we'll let you know. Next week, we'll probably know all that.
Yeah.
Now, I'll be here next week doing the WTF one more time next week, the crazy show. And then after that, it'll be once a month. And we'll be talking about good news and good fun and jokes and things, but staying away from the things that are so really anymore.
We say that, but we still
do it. But anymore, it's like anything that we imagined that we thought was like could never happen is happening. And I think there's just so much stress, and I want to be a stress.
And you and I have lived a long time in our lives, and we've watched it all go down. We're like, what happened to all the happy, man?
People aren't happy anymore.
It's like, what the hell? You see people going down the street, flipping each other off like that.
And they're wearing they're wearing a "What Would Jesus Do" bracelet.
Yeah, and then they start shooting at you. It's like, okay.
It's crazy. And I just think, what really will make you happy? My daughter sent me one for Christmas, a snow cone machine.
Oh,
nothing makes you happier than just randomly going down and making yourself a snow cone. You feel like you're 10 years old. It's like, yes! But anyway, we'll have another WTF next week, same time, 3 o'clock here. And then we're going to switch into the other mode. So.
With that being said, thank you, Rhonda. I'll see you next week. The WTF show being revamped, retooled, and re-ronded.
Re-ronded.
Here on KUHS Radio TV. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Rhonda.
Bye-bye. See you next week.